Hey, how's it going, Eli? Thanks for coming in, man. Love and appreciate you. How's your head? As again, you are the first one in, brother. First one in the door. There's dude. Dude, how are you, my brother? Love and appreciate you. How's your head? Thanks for coming in. Hey, I know I've been slow on getting the last video for Evolution versus Dogma. Boom. Little Blue Book number 191. But I'm going to do it. Probably tonight. I'll finish it up after this video. Because the next book is Little Blue Book number 191. Evolution versus Religion. And this one's... I've run across this a few times now. They've... Hey, Ray! How you doing? Thanks for coming in. Love and appreciate you. How's your head? So good to see you. This one is Evolution versus Dogma, written by Maynard Shimpler. And this one is Evolution versus Religion, written by Ramsden Balmforth. And Ramsden Balmforth was a Unitarian minister in South Africa in the 1920s, 19-teens, 20s, 30s. I think he lived to the 1950s, like 1953. But I thought, at first I thought, oh, I'm not going to put in something a minister wrote. And I thought, well, if Heidelman, E. Heidelman Julius, who was an avowed atheist, agnostic, free thinker, included Ramsden Balmforth's writing, dissertation, whatever you want to call it, Little Blue Book. Then I figured, well, it might be worth reading at least to put it into the record. So I'm pretty sure this one will be the next Little Blue Book. Little Blue Book number 191, Evolution versus Dogma, is one chapter away, and I'll finish that tonight. That video will be up tonight. And then the next book I'm doing is Little Blue Book number 191, Evolution versus Religion, written by a completely different person. So if you're new to me, please go subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate it. You don't have to listen to my videos if you don't want to. But here's some more. Here's one I'm highly interested in. I haven't opened it up. Hey, Mama Sunshine, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. Love and appreciate you. How's your head? Psychoanalysis: The Key to Human Behavior, written by William J. Fielding. That one. I haven't read it yet, but I think it's coming up here soon. I'll have to read them first and see how they actually feel. But this one, this one's really got my interest piqued. But anyhow, I run across this. I'm glad your head is groovy, Mama. So is mine. If you're new to me, please go to my YouTube channel and subscribe, and then come back and I'll read to you while I'm stoned. I swear to God I will. So I see my number's up to 17, so please go and subscribe if you're new. Then come back. I'll be here. So yeah, there's one coming up. This one I'm putting up one of these days. It's a little tough to read. Murder on Murder as One of the Fine Arts. The title was really intriguing, isn't it? It's written in, it was written in 1800s, I think. I'll get to the front page here and I'll tell you. First paper published in 1827. So it's a bit of a flowery English and some French names. So French names always confuse my brain. So those are books coming up on the Little Blue Book series. I've also which will be in the mail. There is a collection of books, bigger Little Blue books. In fact, I have one here, not of the collection I'm talking, but the same size. This is a big Little Blue book. As you can see, it's a lot bigger than a Little Blue book. See, there's the difference there. It's a bit of a difference there in size. Still published by the E. Hatem and Julius Company of Garrard, Kansas. Edited and published. But there is a collection of 18 called The Black... No, damn it, my brain just went... bloop! The Black International. That's what it's called. Black International. And there were 18 books written by Joseph McCabe, who is a prolific writer and one of the many writers... has a lot of books, Little Blue books you'll see and you'll listen to on my channel. But they're all written by Joseph McCabe, who was a former Catholic priest. He was a friar and a scholar and teacher of Adriana Moon Raven. Thanks for coming in. Love and appreciate you. How's your head? Thanks for all the love and the emojis there. I appreciate you. So anyhow, Joseph McCabe was a former Catholic priest of 12 years. Was a scholar, spoke and wrote and could read in multiple languages, Hebrew, Latin, Greek. And after 12 years, he went, this is all bullshit. And walked away, became an atheist. And then for the rest of his life rallied against religion and a lot of it against the Catholic Church. But those 18 books are that. They are him railing against the Catholic Church and its history. And he's a scholar, so he comes at it with facts, and I can't wait to read them. I finally have scored the entire collection. I was missing 5 of them, I think, and maybe 6, and I found those missing ones on eBay. So they will be coming soon. I will put them on to the YouTube channel as a collection of their own, and I'll do them, though. They are definitely not for kids. And of course, none of my videos are for kids. Yes, it does sound intriguing, doesn't it, Mama? I wish I would have brought one of them out here with me. But yeah, I lowballed a bid and they took it, and I was like, yes, because they had been on there for a while. No one really knows what they are. All right, we're at 10:08, so in 2 minutes I'll begin reading. We shall pick up Lamb and read. This is also a big Little Blue book, the one I had here, and I've started to read it. Oh, it is written by Joseph McCabe. This is one of his books, not one of those of the 18 that I referred to. But this one is The Amazing Career of the Marquis de Sade. A study of the character and views of the man whose fantastic works gave rise to the word sadism. That's an intriguing one. I did start to read that a little bit, but I haven't actually finished it. I got too much going on reading wise. I've got, the Book of Lamb. This is what we'll be reading tonight. The Book of Lamb, written by Christopher Moore. The Gospel According to Biff, Christ's childhood pal. What do you know? It's a good book. Please, if you enjoy what you hear from me reading it tonight, please go and buy the book. There, I keep putting my hand over the title. Please go and buy the book, Lamb by Christopher Moore. I prefer a good solid book. I like to have a book in my hands. I've done audiobooks before. Sometimes the life just calls for it, sometimes sitting down and reading a book isn't practical. You need to be able to go and listen. I get that, but when you can, get your hands on a book. Go buy one. Go buy this one. Maybe an audio. It's probably an audio, and it's being read a lot better than I'm doing. Those people are flashy and professional, and they have all the equipment. I don't. It's 10:10. I just get high and read. So, here we go, kids. It is 10:10. It's time to begin to read. So let's see, where did we leave off? We left off beginning of chapter 6. All right, so let me see here. Let me get my goddamn ducks in a row, as they say. And if you're new to me, please go subscribe to my YouTube channel and come back. I am going to read momentarily. First, we need to put something in the head. Adjust the perception. Ooh, I should have loaded this before I got on here. Oh, there it comes. All right, so here we go. Pardon me. Some hydration for the cotton mouth. All right, here we go. Chapter 6. Bam. When we got back to Nazareth, we expected to find Joshua's mother hysterical with worry. But on the contrary, she had gathered Joshua's brothers and sisters. Oh my God, hold on a minute. Let me just... I just realized my TV is on. Hey, Graham. Okay. Sorry for that momentary pause in sanity. I realized I had not muted my TV. Okay, here we go. We'll just do that again. When we got back to Nazareth, we expected to find Joshua's mother hysterical with worry. But on the contrary, she had gathered Joshua's brothers and sisters outside of their house, lined them up, and was washing their faces and hands as if preparing for the Sabbath meal. Joshua, help me get the little ones ready. We're going to Sepphoris. Joshua's shocked. We are? The whole village is going to ask the Romans to release Joseph. James was the only one of the children who seemed to understand what had happened to their father. There were tear tracks on his cheeks. I put my arm around his shoulders. He'll be fine, I said, trying to sound cheerful. Your father is strong. They'll have to torture him for days before he gives up the ghost. I smiled encouragingly. James broke out of my embrace and ran into the house crying. Mary turned and glared at me. Shouldn't you be with your family, Biff? Oh, my breaking heart, my bruised ego. Even though Mary had taken position as my emergency backup wife, I was crestfallen at her disapproval. And to my credit, not once during that time of trouble did I wish harm to come to Joseph. Not once. After all, I was still too young to take a wife, and some creepy elder would swoop Mary up before I had the chance to rescue her if Joseph died before I was 14. Why don't you go get Maggie? Joshua suggested, taking only a second from his mission of scrubbing the skin off his brother Judah's face. Her family will want to go with us. Sure, I said, and I scampered off to the blacksmith shop in search of approval from my primary wife-to-be. When I arrived, Maggie was sitting outside of her father's shop with her brothers and sisters. She looked as frightened as she had when we first witnessed the murder. I wanted to throw my arms around her to comfort her. We have a plan, I said. I mean, Joshua has a plan. Are you going to Sepphoris with everyone else? And hold on a minute, I forgot another thing. Yep, see there, I forgot to mute this sumbitch. Where are you, muty button? Oh, there we are. There we go. Sorry about that. All right. The whole family, she said. My father has made nails for Joseph. They're friends. She tossed her head, pointing toward the open shed that housed her father's forge. 2 men were working over the forge. Go ahead, Biff. You and Joshua go on ahead. We'll be along later. She started waving me away and mouthed words silently to me, which I didn't pick up. What are you saying? What? What? And who is your friend, Maggie? A man's voice coming from near the forge. I looked over and suddenly realized what Maggie had been trying to tell me. Uncle Jeremiah. This is Levi Bar Alphaeus. We call him Biff. He has to go now. I started backing away from the killer. Yes, I have to go. I looked at Maggie, not knowing what to do. I have to. We'll see you in Sepphoris, Maggie said. Great, I said. Then I turned and dashed away, feeling more like a coward than I ever have in my life. When we got back to Sepphoris, there was a large gathering of Jews, perhaps 200, outside of the city walls. Most I recognized as being from Nazareth. No mob mentality here, more a fearful gathering. More than half of those gathered were women and children. In the middle of the crowd, a contingent of a dozen Roman soldiers pushed back the onlookers while 2 slaves dug a grave. Like my own people, the Romans did not dally with their dead. Unless there was a battle ongoing, Roman soldiers were often put in the ground before the corpse was cold. Hey, you tickle my nose. Joshua and I spotted Maggie standing between her father and her murderous uncle at the edge of the crowd. Joshua took off toward her. I followed, but before I got close, Joshua had taken Maggie's hand and dragged her into the midst of the crowd. I could see Jeremiah trying to follow them. I dove into the mass and crawled under people's feet until I came upon a pair of hobnailed boots, which indicated the lower end of a Roman soldier. The other end, equally Roman, was scowling at me. I stood up. Semper Fido, I said in my best Latin, followed by my most charming smile. The soldier scowled further. Suddenly, there was a smell of flowers in my nose, and sweet, warm lips brushed my ear. I think you just said always dog, Maggie whispered. That would be why he's looking so unpleasant then, I said out of the side of my charming smile. In my other ear, another familiar, if not so sweet, whisper. Sing, Biff. Remember the plan, Joshua said. Right. And so I let loose with one of my famous dirges. La 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 la, hey Roman guy, too bad about your getting stabbed. La la la, probably not a message from God or nothing. La la la. Telling you that maybe you should have gone home, la 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 la, instead of oppressing the chosen people who God himself has said that he likes better than you, fa la 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 la. The soldier didn't speak Aramaic, so the lyrics didn't move him as I had hoped. But I think the hypnotic toe-tappiness of the melody was starting to get him. I plunged into my second verse. La la la. Didn't we tell you that you shouldn't eat pork? La la la. Although looking at wounds in your chest, a dietary change might have not made that big of a difference. Boom shakalaka laka, boom shakalaka laka. Come on, you know the words. Enough. The soldier was yanked aside, and Gaius Justus Gallicus stood before us, flanked by 2 of his officers. Behind him, stretched out on the ground, was the body of the dead soldier. Well done, Biff, Joshua whispered. We're offering our services as professional mourners, I said with a grin, which the centurion was eager not to return. That soldier doesn't need mourners. He has avengers. A voice from the crowd. See here, centurion. Release Joseph of Nazareth. He is no murderer. Justus turned and the crowd parted, leaving a path between him and the man who had spoken up. It was Iban the Pharisee, standing with several other Pharisees from Nazareth. Would you take his place? Justus asked. The Pharisee backed away, his resolve melting quickly under the threat. Well? Justus stepped forward and the crowd parted around him. You speak for your people, Pharisee. Tell them to give me a killer. Or would you rather I crucify Jews until I get the right one? Iban was flustered now, and began jabbering a mishmash of verses from the Torah. I looked around and saw Maggie's uncle Jeremiah, standing only a few paces behind me. When I caught his eye, he slipped his hand under his shirt, to the heft of a knife, I had no doubt. Joseph didn't kill that soldier, Joshua shouted. Justus turned to him, and the Pharisees took the opportunity to scramble to the back of the crowd. I know that, Justus said. You do? Of course, boy. No carpenter killed that soldier. How do you know that? I asked. Justus motioned to one of his legionnaires, and the soldier came forward carrying a small basket. The centurion nodded, and the soldier upended the basket. The stone effigy of Apollo's severed penis thudded to the ground in front of us. Uh-oh, I said. Because it was a stone cutter, Justus said. My, that is impressive, Maggie said. I noticed that Joshua was edging toward the body of the soldier. I needed to distract Justus. Ah, I said. Someone beat the soldier to death with a stone willy. Obviously the work of a Greek or a Samaritan. No Jew would touch such a thing. They wouldn't, Maggie asked. Geez, Maggie. I think you have something to tell me, boy, Justus said. Joshua had laid hands on the dead soldier. I could feel everyone's eyes on me. I wondered where Jeremiah was now. Was he behind me, ready to silence me with a knife? Or had he made his escape? Either way, I couldn't say a word. The Sicarii did not work alone. If I gave up Jeremiah, I'd be dead by Sicarii dagger before the Sabbath. He can't tell you, Centurion, even if he knew, said Joshua, who had moved back to Maggie's side. For it is written in our holy books that no Jew shall rat out another Jew, regardless of what a weasel one or the other shall be. Is it written? Maggie whispered. Is now, Joshua whispered back. Did you just call me a weasel? I asked. Behold! A woman in the front of the crowd was pointing to the dead soldier. Another screamed. The corpse was moving. Justus turned toward the commotion, and I took the opportunity to look around for Jeremiah. He was still there behind me, only a few people back, but he was staring gape-jawed at the dead soldier, who was currently standing up and dusting off his tunic. Joshua was concentrating intently on the soldier, but there was none of the sweating or trembling that he had seen at the funeral in Japhia. To his credit, Justus, although he seemed frightened at first, stood his ground as the corpse ambled stiff-legged toward him. The other soldiers were backing away, along with all of the Jews except Maggie, Joshua, and me. I need to report an attack, sir, the once dead soldier said, performing a very jerky Roman salute. You're dead, Justus said. I'm not. You have knife wounds all over your chest. The soldier looked down, touched the wounds gingerly, then looked back to his commander. Seems I have been nicked, sir. Nicked? Nicked? You've been stabbed half a dozen times. You're dead as dirt. I don't think so, sir. Look, I'm not even bleeding. That's because you've bled out, son. You're dead. The soldier began to stagger now, started to fall, and caught himself. I'm feeling a little woozy. I was attacked last night, sir, near where they are building the Greek's house. There. He was there. He pointed to me. And him, too. He pointed to Joshua. And the little girl. These boys attacked you? I could hear shuffling behind me. No, not them. That man over there. The soldier pointed to Jeremiah, who looked around like a trapped animal. Everyone was so intent on watching the miracle of a talking corpse that they had frozen in place. The killer couldn't push his way through the crowd to get away. Arrest him, Justus commanded. But his soldiers were equally stunned by the resurrection of their cohort. Now that I think of it, the dead soldier said, I do remember being stabbed. No outlet from the crowd, Jeremiah turned toward his accuser and drew a blade from under his shirt. This seemed to snap the other soldiers out of their trance, and they began advancing on the killer from different angles, swords drawn. At the sight of the blade, everyone had moved away from the killer, leaving him isolated with no path open but towards us. No master but God, he shouted. Then 3 quick steps, and he leapt toward us, his knife raised. I dove on top of Maggie and Joshua, hoping to shield them. But even as I waited for the sharp pain between my shoulder blades, I heard the killer scream, then a grunt, then a protracted moan that ran out of air with a pathetic squeal. I rolled over to see Gaius Justus Galacus, with his short sword sunk to the hilt in the solar plexus of Jeremiah. The killer had dropped his knife and was standing there looking at the Roman sword hand, looking somewhat offended by it. He sank to his knees. Justus yanked his sword free, then wiped the blade on Jeremiah's shirt before stepping back and letting the killer fall forward. "That was him," the dead soldier said. "Bastard killed me." He fell forward next to his killer and lay still. "Much better than last time, Josh," I said. "Yes, much better," Maggie said. "Walking and talking. You had him going." It felt good, confident. But it was a team effort, Joshua said. I couldn't have done it without everyone giving it their all, including God. I felt something sharp against my cheek. With the tip of his sword, Justus guided my gaze to Apollo's stone penis, which lay in the dirt next to the two corpses. "And do you want to explain how this happened?" "The pox," I ventured. "The pox can do that?" Maggie asked. "Can rot it right off?" "Oh, no, it's not a question, it's a statement." "Never mind, stoner." "The pox can do that," Maggie said. "Can rot it right off." "How do you know that?" Joshua asked her. "Just guessing. I'm sure glad that's all over." Justus let his sword fall to his side with a sigh. "Go home, all of you. By order of Gaius Justus Galacus, under command of the 6th Legion, commander of the 3rd and 4th centuries, under authority of Emperor Tiberius and the Roman Empire, you are all commanded to go home and perpetuate no weird shit until I have gotten well drunk and had several days to sleep it off." "So you're going to release Joseph?" Maggie asked. "He's at the barracks. Go get him and take him home." "Amen," said Joshua. "Semper Fido," I added in Latin. Alright. Hydration, kids, because I got cotton mouth. Motherfuckers. And once again, if you're new to me, please go subscribe to my YouTube channel where I read a lot of things stoned. Joshua's little brother, Judah, who was 7 by then, ran around the Roman barracks screaming, "Let my people go! Let my people go!" until he was hoarse. Judah had decided early on that he was going to be Moses when he grew up. Only this time, Moses would get to enter the promised land on a pony. As it turned out, Joseph had been waiting for us at the Venus Gate. He looked a little confused, but otherwise unharmed. "They say that a dead man spoke," Joseph said. Mary was ecstatic. "Yes, and walked. He pointed out his murderer. Then he died again." "Sorry," Joshua said. "I tried to make him live on, but he only lasted a minute." Joseph frowned. Did everyone see what you did, Joshua?" "They didn't know it was my doing, but they saw it." "I distracted everyone with one of my excellent dirges," I said. "You can't risk yourself like that," Joseph said to Joshua. "It's not the time yet." "If not to save my father, when?" "I'm not your father," Joseph smiled. "Yes, you are," Joshua hung his head. "But I'm not the boss of you." Joseph's smile widened to a grin. "No, I guess not," Joshua said. "You needn't have worried, Joseph," I said. "If the Romans had killed you, I would have taken good care of Mary and the children." Maggie punched me in the arm. "Good to know," Joseph said. On the road to Nazareth, I got to walk with Maggie a few paces behind Joseph and his family. Maggie's family was so distraught over what had happened to Jeremiah that they didn't even notice she wasn't with them. "He's much stronger than he was the last time," Maggie said. "Don't worry, he'll be a mess tomorrow." "Oh, what did I do wrong? Oh, my faith wasn't strong enough. Oh, I am not worthy of my task." "It'll be impossible to be around for a week or so," We'll be lucky if he stops praying long enough to eat. You shouldn't make fun of him. He's trying very hard. Easy for you to say. You wouldn't have to hang out with a village idiot until Josh gets over this. But aren't you touched by who he is? What he is? What good would that do me? If I was basking in the light of his holiness all the time, how would I take care of him? Who would do all of his lying and cheating for him? Even Josh can't think about what he is all the time, Maggie. I think about him all the time. I pray for him all of the time. Really? Do you ever pray for me? I mentioned you in prayers once. You did? How? I asked God to help you not be such a doofus, so you could watch over Joshua. You meant doofus in an attractive way, right? Of course. That's the end of chapter 6. So what time is it, kids? 10:31. Oh, we got time to get into more. So we're going to go into chapter 7. Hold on to your knickers. Chapter 7's on the way. I think we should smoke weed to get prepared for this. Chapter 7 cometh. That's what she said. Oh, I should have loaded this sucker. I hate when that happens. Well, I think we're just going to have to do that now. You're just going to have to hang with me here for a minute. And I'm going to load this bitch up. Since I forgot to. Sugar goes so quickly in these things. So it does. And tonight, tonight we are using GDPC. I have no idea what those initials stand for. Live sugar. And this stuff is crumbly. Unlike sauce and the like. There we go. Okay. Load it up, bitches. There we go. Bam. All right. That's loaded up. Momentary pause for loading up of the Evolve Plus XL. I love these things. These things are great for concentrates, especially on the go. All right, here we go. See, I love my landlord. In fact, I just signed my 1-year lease today, my new one. But I'm not allowed to smoke flower in my apartment. But I am allowed to vape, so we vape. Now, what are you doing? Oh, of course, now it needs charged. I can't win for losing on this one, kids. All right, so here we go. Chapter 7. And the angel said, "What prophet has this written? For in this book is foretold all the events which shall come to pass in the next week in the land of days of our lives. And all my children." And I said to the angel, "You fabulously feeble-minded bundle of feathers. There's no prophet involved. They know what is going to happen because they write it all down in advance for the actors to perform. So it is written, so it shall be done," said the angel. I crossed the room and sat on the edge of the bed next to Raziel. His gaze never wavered from his soap opera digest. I pushed the magazine down so the angel had to look me in the face. "Raziel, do you remember the time before mankind? The time when the time when there were only The heavenly host and the Lord? Yes, those were the best of times. Except for the war, of course. But other than that, yes, wonderful times. And you angels were as strong and beautiful as divine imagination. Your voices sang praise for the Lord and his glory to the end of the universe. And yet the Lord saw fit to create us, mankind, weak, twisted, and profane. Right? That's when it all started to go downhill, if you ask me, Raziel said. Well, do you know why the Lord decided to create us? No, ours is not to question the will. Because you are all dumb fucks, that's why. You're as mindless as machinery of the stars. Angels are just pretty insects. Days of Our Lives is a show, Raziel, a play. It's not real. Get it? No. And he didn't. I've learned that there's a tradition in this time of telling funny stories about the stupidity of people with yellow hair. Guess where that started? I think we were all expected... Yeah, I think that we all expected everything to go back to normal after the killer was found. But it seemed that the Romans were much more concerned with the extermination of the Sicarii than they were with a single resurrection. To be fair, I have to say that resurrections aren't that uncommon in those days. As I mentioned, we Jews were quick to get our dead into the ground, and with speed, there's bound to be errors. Occasionally, some poor soul would fall unconscious during a fever and wake to find himself being wrapped in linen and prepared for the grave. But funerals were a nice way to get the family together. And there was always a fine meal afterward, so no one really complained, except perhaps those people who didn't wake before they were buried. And if they complained, well, I'm sure God heard them. It paid to be a light sleeper in my time. So, impressed as they might have been with the walking dead, the next day the Romans began to round up suspected conspirators. The men in Maggie's family were hauled off to Sepphoris at dawn. No miracles would come to bring about the release of the prisoners, but neither were there any crucifixions announced in the days that followed. After 2 weeks had passed with no word of the fate or condition of the men, Maggie, her mother, her aunts, and her sisters went to the synagogue on the Sabbath and appealed to the Pharisees for help. The next day, the Pharisees from Nazareth, Jaffa, and Sepphoris appeared at the Roman garrison to appeal to justice for the release of the prisoners. I don't know what they said, or what sort of leverage they could possibly have used to move the Romans, but the following day, just after dawn, the men of Maggie's family staggered back into our village, beaten, starving, and covered with filth, but very much alive. There were no feasts, no celebration for the return of the prisoners. We Jews walked softly for a few months to allow the Romans to settle down. Maggie seemed distant in the weeks that followed, and Josh and I never saw the smile that could make the breath catch in our throats. She seemed to be avoiding us, rushing out of the square whenever we saw her there, or on the Sabbath, staying so close to the women of her family that we couldn't talk to her. Finally, after a month had passed, with absolutely no regard for custom or common courtesy, Joshua insisted that we skip work and dragged me by the sleeve to Maggie's house. She was kneeling on the ground outside the door, grinding some barley with a millstone. We could see her mother moving around in the house, and hear the sound of her father and older brother Simon, who was called Lazarus, working the forge next door. Maggie seemed to be lost in the rhythm of grinding the grain, so she didn't seem to see us approach. Joshua put his hand on her shoulder, and without looking up, she smiled. "You are supposed to be building a house in Sepphoris," she said. "We thought it more important to visit a sick friend." "And who would that be?" "Who do you think?" "I'm not sick. In fact, I've been healed by the touch of the Messiah. I think not, said Joshua. She finally looked up at him, and her smile evaporated. I can't be friends with you two anymore, she said. Things have changed. What? Because your uncle was Sicarii, I said. Don't be silly. No, because my mother made a bargain to get Iban to convince the other Pharisees to go to Sepphoris to plead for the men's lives. What kind of bargain? Joshua said. I am betrothed. She looked at the millstone again, and a tear dripped into the powdered grain. We were both stunned. Josh took his hand from her shoulder and stepped back, then looked at me as if there was something I could do. I felt as if I would start crying at any second myself. I managed to choke out, who to? To Jachin, Maggie said with a sob. Iban's son? The creep? The bully? Maggie nodded. Joshua covered his mouth and ran a few steps away, then threw up. I was tempted to join him, but instead I crouched in front of Maggie. How long before you're married? I'm to be married a month after the Passover feast. Mother made him wait 6 months. 6 months? 6 months! That's forever, Maggie. Why, Jachin could be killed in 1,000 heinous ways in 6 months. And that's just the ones I can think of right now. Why, someone could turn him into the Romans for being a rebel. I'm not saying who, but someone might. It could happen. I'm sorry, Biff. Don't be sorry for me. Why would you be sorry for me? I know how you feel, so I am sorry. I was thrown for a second. I glanced at Joshua to see if he could give me a clue, but he was still absorbed in splattering his breakfast in the dirt. But it's Joshua who you love, I finally said. Does that make you feel any better? Well, no. Then I'm sorry. She made as if to reach out to touch my cheek, but her mother called her before she made contact. Right now, Mary, in this house. Maggie nodded toward the barfing Messiah. Take care of him. He'll be fine. And take care of yourself. I'll be fine too. Maggie, don't forget I have an emergency backup wife. Besides, it's 6 months. A lot can happen in 6 months. It's not like we won't see you. I was trying to sound more hopeful than I felt. Take Joshua home, she said. Then she quickly kissed me on the cheek and ran into the house. Joshua was completely against the idea of murdering Jachin, or even praying for harm to come to him. If anything, Joshua seemed more kindly disposed towards Jachin than he had been before, going as far as to seek him out and congratulate him on his betrothal to Maggie, an act that left me feeling angry and betrayed. I confronted Joshua in the olive grove, where he had gone to pray among the twisted tree trunks. Sorry, I had to burp. Nope. New page. Pause for hydration. You coward, I said. You could strike him down if you wanted to. That's 'cause you, he replied. Yeah, but you can call the wrath of God down upon him. I have to sneak up behind him and brain him with a rock. There's a difference. And you would have me kill Jachin for what? Your bad luck. Works for me. Is it so hard for you to give up what you never had? I had hope, Josh. You understand hope, don't you? Sometimes he can be mightily dense. Or so I thought. I didn't realize how much he was hurting inside, or how much he wanted to do something. I think I understand hope. I'm just not sure that I am allowed to have any. Oh, don't start with that. Everyone gets something but me speech. You've got plenty. Josh wheeled on me, his eyes like fire. Like what? What do I have? I wanted to say something about a really sexy mother, but that didn't seem like the sort of thing he wanted to hear. You have God. So do you. So does everyone. Really? Yes. Not the Romans. There are Roman Jews. Well, you've got that healing, raising the dead thing. Oh, yeah, that's working really well. Well, you're the Messiah. What's that? That's something. If you told people you were the Messiah, they'd have to do what you say. I can't tell them. Why not? I don't know how to be the Messiah. Well, at least do something for Maggie. He can't, came a voice from behind the tree. A golden glow emanated from either side of the trunk. Who's there? Joshua called. The angel Raziel stepped out from behind the tree. Angel of the Lord, I said under my breath to Josh. I know, he said, in a you seen one, you seen 'em all way. He can't do anything, the angel repeated. Why not? I asked. Because he may not know any woman. I may not, Joshua said, not sounding at all happy. He may not in that he should not, or that he cannot, I asked. The angel scratched his golden head. I didn't think to ask. It's kind of important, I said. Well, he can't do anything about Mary Magdalene. I know that. They told me to come and tell him that it's time for him to go. Go where? I didn't think to ask. I suppose I should have been frightened, but I seemed to have passed right through frightened to exasperated. I stepped up to the angel and poked him in the chest. Are you the same angel that came to us before to announce the coming of the Savior? It was the Lord's will that I bring that joyful news. I just wondered, in case all of you angels look alike or something. So, after you showed up 10 years late, they sent you with another message? I am here to tell the Savior that it's time for him to go. But you don't know where. No. And this golden stuff around you, this light, what is this? The glory of the Lord. You're sure it's not stupidity leaking out of you? Beth, be nice. He is the messenger of the Lord. Well, hell, Josh, he's no help at all. If we're going to get angels from heaven, they should at least know what they're doing. Blow down walls or something, destroy cities. Oh, I don't know. Get the whole message? I'm sorry, the angel said. Would you like me to destroy a city? Go find out where Josh is supposed to go. How about that? I can do that. Then do that. I'll be right back. We'll wait. The anticipation of turning this page is killing me. Godspeed, Joshua said. In an instant, the angel moved behind another tree trunk, and the golden glow was gone from the olive grove with a warm breeze. You were sort of hard on him, Joshua said. Josh, being nice isn't always going to get the job done. One can try. Was Moses nice to Pharaoh? Before Joshua could answer me, the warm breeze blew in the olive grove again, and the angel stepped out from behind a tree. To find your destiny, he said. What? I said. What? Joshua said. You are supposed to go find your destiny. That's it, Joshua said. Yes. What about the knowing a woman thing? I asked. I have to go now. Grab him, Josh. You hold him and I'll hit him. But the angel was gone with the breeze. My destiny? Joshua looked at his open, empty palms. We should have pounded the answer out of him, I said. I don't think that would have worked. Oh, back to the nice strategy. Did Moses should have said, let my people go, please. That would have made the difference. It could have worked, you don't know. So, what do you do about your destiny? I'm going to ask the Holy of Holies when we go to the temple for the Passover. And so it came to pass that in the spring all the Jews from Galilee made the pilgrimage to Jerusalem for the Passover feast, and Joshua began the search for his destiny. The road was lined with families making their way to the holy city. Camels, carts, and donkeys were loaded with provisions for the trip. And all along the column of pilgrims you could hear the bleating of the lambs that would be sacrificed for the feast. The road was dry that year, and the red-brown cloud of dust wound its way over the road as far as one could see in either direction. Since we were each the eldest in our families, it fell on Joshua and me to keep track of all our younger brothers and sisters. It seemed that the easiest way to accomplish this was to tie them together. So we strung together by height my 2 brothers and Josh's 3 brothers and 2 sisters. I tied the rope loosely around their necks, so it would only choke them if they got out of line. "I can untie this," said James. "Me too," said my brother Shem. "But you won't. This is the part of the Passover where you reenact Moses leading you out of the promised land. You have to stay with the little ones." "You're not Moses," said Shem. No, I'm not Moses. Smart of you to notice." I tied the end of the rope to a nearby wagon that was loaded high with jars of wine. "This wagon is Moses," I said. "Follow it." "That wagon it's symbolic. Shut the hell up and follow Moses." Thus freed of our responsibilities, Joshua and I went looking for Maggie and her family. We knew that Maggie and her clan had left after us, so we fought backward through the pilgrims, braving donkey bites and camel spit until we spotted her royal blue shawl on the hill behind us, perhaps a half-mile back. We had resolved to just sit by the side of the road to wait until she reached us, rather than battle the crowd, when suddenly the column of pilgrims started to leave the road altogether, moving to the sides in a great wave. When we saw the red crest of Centurions' helmets come over the top of the hill, we understood. Our people were making way for the Roman army. There would be nearly 1 million Jews in Jerusalem for Passover. 1 million Jews celebrating their liberation from oppression, a very dangerous mix with Roman points from the Roman point of view. The Roman governor would come from Caesarea with his full legion of 6,000 men, and each of the other barracks in Judea, Samaria, and Galilee would send a century or 2 of soldiers to the holy city. We used the opportunity to dash back to Maggie, arriving at the same time as the Roman army. The centurion that led the cavalry kicked at me as he passed his hobnail boot, missing my head by a hair's breadth. I suppose I should be glad he wasn't a standard bearer, or I might have been conked with the Roman eagle. And what is our time, kids? 10:53. All right, I'll finish this page and then I'm done. "How long do I have to wait before you drive them from the land and restore the kingdom to our people, Joshua?" Maggie stood there with her hands on her hips, trying to look stern, but her blue eyes betrayed that she was about to burst into laughter. Shalom to you too, Maggie," Joshua said. "How about you, Biff? Have you learned to be an idiot yet? Or are you behind in your studies?" Those laughing eyes, even as the Romans passed by, only an arm's length away. God, I miss her. "I'm learning," I said. Maggie put down the jar she was carrying and threw her arms out to embrace us. It had been months since we'd seen her, other than passing in the square. She smelled of lemons and cinnamon that day. We walked with Maggie and her family for a couple of hours, talking and joking, and avoiding the subject that we were all thinking about, until Maggie finally said, "Are you two coming to my wedding?" Pardon me. Hydrate. There we go. Joshua and I looked at each other as our tongues were suddenly been struck from our mouths. I saw that Josh was having no luck finding words, and Maggie seemed to be getting angry. "Well, Maggie, it's not that we're not overjoyed with your good fortune, but..." She took the opportunity to backhand me across the mouth. The jar she carried on her head didn't even waver. Amazing girl, that. Yeah. Amazing grace that girl had. Ouch! Good fortune? Are you mad? My husband's a toad. I'm sick at the thought of him. I was just hoping you two would come to help me through the ceremony. I think my lip is bleeding. Joshua looked at me and his eyes went wide. Uh-oh. He cocked his head, as if listening to the wind. What? Uh-oh. Then I heard the commotion coming from ahead. There was a crowd gathering at a small bridge, a lot of shouting and waving. Since the Romans had long since passed, I assumed someone had fallen in the river. And that's where we're stopping, kids. That's the end of the page. Dang it. And that's where we're stopping. We go no further. That's it. You'll have to wait till next week to see what's going on at the bridge. Alright, let me mark my page. There we are. Here's where we're starting off next week. Page is marked. Damn it. There we go, kids. That's the end of the show. Oh, that's the end of the reading. You have to follow in next Thursday. We'll pick it up again. Boop. And tonight I'm going to try to finish the final chapter of Evolution versus Dogma, Little Blue Book number 191 by Maynard Shipley. And then I'm going to possibly try to start Little Blue Book number 191, titled Evolution versus Religion by Ramsden Balmforth. Two completely different books, both number 191. And I found that a few times in my collecting of Little Blue Books. Sometimes he changed the title because it wasn't selling, so he put a flashier title on it. Sometimes he just changed the story altogether. This is one where he changed the story altogether. Though he stuck with the same theme, evolution versus something. So, but that is where we're at, Cracker Jack. And I am done for the night, people. I think I might go make some French fries. I suddenly rediscovered my air fryer. I hadn't used it in over a year. And what was it that I rediscovered? Oh, I got some little mini empanadas. I was looking for the bigger empanadas, like the meal kind of one, but didn't have them. So anyhow, I used the air fryer because it had air fryer instructions. Like, oh, I haven't used that in a while. And so that got me going, oh, now I need French fries. So I think I might make some French fries in the air fryer. Why not? It's almost midnight. That'll settle real well on my stomach, won't it, kids? All right, guys. Thanks for listening to me. I love and appreciate you. And you guys have a good night. And I'll try and get them videos on. And I'll see you next Thursday. Okie dokie. Love y'all. Bye.